Hey, hey, happy Friday. So let's talk about our dormant season and the necessity of a dormant season. Um, Dormant is not dead, but it is a time of rest and recreation. It's a time of renewal. Um, Here, let me just read some definitions of dormant. It is marked by a suspension of activity. Not that the activity has been stopped, not that you are fruitless, but it is, or that your activity has been um, ended, that it's been stopped, but it is marked by suspension. It is not actively growing, but protected from the environment. Protected from the environment. Remember, we talked about that yesterday, how the frost can steal, kill the bud, kill um, the 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 plant, the fruit plant, before it's time. So dormant is protecting from the environment. Temporarily devoid of external capability, or not capability, but I had to read my own writing. Temporarily devoid of external activity. So even though there is nothing that we can see going on above ground, there are things going on inside those bulbs, inside those trees. The roots, and I do this because my pecan tree is right here. The roots of that tree have never stopped, not any season. They have not stopped bringing nutrients throughout that tree. Through every day of winter, they are still collecting and absorbing and sending it through the tree so that it's ready in its season, so that it is built up and prepared, because it says temporarily devoid of external activity, yet capable of being activated. Capable of being activated, because when the time is right, the sun will shine, the temperatures will be right, and that tree will be called forth to produce its fruit. You and I are the same way. So we continue building ourselves up, taking our rest, allowing things to restore and renew us. Also, something that happens in the dormant season is pruning. We don't like to talk about pruning because we think pruning is painful, but that's why it's done in the dormant season. Pruning was not meant to be painful. It was meant to be beneficial. It was meant to help you. It was meant to develop you. It was meant to, shave off those things which would be dead weight, and so that we can focus on those things which will be beneficial and will be good, and to narrow down the old so that we can focus on the new and the good and the next. There are things in our life that we don't need to hold on to, that were for a time and season, and then we move on to the next time, or to the next thing that the Lord has called us to do. So here are some definitions of pruning. It's to cut healthy wood. You don't prune dead wood. You just pull that up and throw it away. But you prune the healthy wood so that it can sustain, so that it can continue to grow and flourish. Cut back to a lateral shoot or bud, to cut a bud or stem pointing in the direction that you want it to go. That is very important, and that's what the Lord does to us. We'll talk about that He is the vine, we are the branches in a couple of days, but He trims off things that would weigh us down or pull us in a direction that's not the way that He has for us, not the good that He has for us, something that would serve as a distraction or a weight that would hold us back and prevent us from producing at mass capacity, which is what He has for us, to be the most prosperous. So to cut it back to a bud or a stem pointing in the direction that you want it to go. Now, there is a way to prune. It says cut cleanly. Don't leave a stub, which is an invitation to bugs and disease. I think that's something for us to meditate on for sure. When the Lord gives us instructions to cut or prune, when we take something and we know it's time for us to step aside. We know that it's time for us to move on to something else. We know that this needs to be cut out of our lives. We do it completely. And that's what this says. Don't leave a stub, cut it clean. Because if you do leave a stub, or if you do leave a part in it, that's like we've been talking about with the thorns in the ground already, that those thorns will grow and they will produce. And so if we leave a stub, if we haven't cut it off clean as the Lord instructs us to do, it's an invitation to bugs and disease, and that will affect the fruit and the harvest. We do not want that. So I hope this has been interesting for you. I know it has been for me. It's a great refresher, and we'll pick up and talk about some more things tomorrow. I will say, dormancy is a period of rest, and it's crucial for the survival of the plant. After, a heavy or a full season of growth and harvesting, those plants, trees, you and I need times of renewal and refreshing. And so when we take a rest, when we take a Selah or a Sabbath, that period of dormancy is not dead. It's not that we've stopped. It's just that we, for the good of ourselves and for the benefit of the fruit that is yet to be produced, need to take time to restore and renew ourselves. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, y'all.